Greetings, our dear viewers, and you're welcome once again to Hagne Initiatives in our conversations that are geared towards building us to become better versions of ourselves. And today I'm super excited that we are at the Mana Hotel in Nyarutarama, and I welcome you to come and visit and take a look at the beautiful scenery, enjoy their taste Italian foods, enjoy a good treat of the spa, and so much more. As usual, with me, we're Agnes, and today I'm super excited to have one of my expected guests. And when I say expected, is I've always wanted to host somebody of this caliber, and he's a husband, he's a father, and above all, he's very passionate and dedicated to professional counseling, and he's a member of the Kenya Counselling and Psychological Association. And maybe I will not be able to mention everything that he has shared with me offline, and what he has shared with me, in the text that I was reading, but I will be really super excited to welcome him and allow him to tell us more details about himself. You're welcome, my brother.
Thank you so much, Agnes.
Yes. Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you once again, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes.
And I am also excited that you have hosted me in this wonderful program. You are doing a great job.
Thank you.
So my name is Moffat, Moffat Kago. I am based in Nairobi. That's where I practice. I'm also the current CEO of the Kenya Counselling and Psychological Association. And I'm glad to be in Kigali. I am told that you guys pronounce it as Chigali.
Kigali, yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
where I come from is Kigali. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Yes, like you have said, I'm an author. I've written a book called Breaking Transgenerational Family Patterns. I am also doing the second one called Touring the Heart of Your Teenager. I'm a counselor psychologist by profession and also a marriage and family therapist. I practice back in Kenya. And I'm happy to be in what they call a land with 1,000 hills.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Moffat, and I'm really privileged, I would say, to have you come to speak to my audience,
Yeah.
people that follow Hagne Initiatives. And I believe this conversation will go beyond borders.
Yep.
Today we are seated in the land of 1,000 hills,
Yes.
but I'm sure this conversation will reach so many people, especially with the topic that we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
You being a counselor, there are so many questions that come to mind. And in today's conversation, I would want to also sort of confess that in the recent years, for me, seeking out counseling services wasn't a thing. It's not really important to seek out professional counseling and psychosocial support. However, and this is my confession, that of recent, at least since the year began, I keep, I can quickly visualize that it's important because I read about the 8 dimensions of wellness, and one of them, or 2 of them, in fact 3, there's the mental, there's the emotional, but also there's financial wellness. And when I read deeper, I realized that it is actually important that each one of us should have a counselor, if I may say. And that is why, recently when we met in the previous conference that your team was having here in Kigali,
Yeah.
I noticed that it is actually important to call you and we have this conversation,
Yeah.
so that the people that are in the same bracket like me can wake up to the call and understand that it is of importance,
Yeah.
to seek out counseling services. And maybe with that, even when I say that I have confessed, I feel like beyond me there are so many other people who don't understand what counseling is, would you walk a journey with us?
Counseling, I would say, is a journey where you walk with a person trained in that area, and a person who is not going to judge you, a person who is going to take you as you are, a person who is non-judgmental, and a person who gives you unconditional positive regard. To walk with you as you allow such a person to get into your heart, what I usually call touring your heart, because for somebody to be given access into your heart, there must be some things which have happened which have made you want to allow them
to open your doors, the doors
yes
to your heart.
the doors to your heart. So basically that is counseling. And I have heard you say how some people fear opening up, and it is okay. This is something that is usually accepted, because there is no way you can just come to me and I trust you with my very precious information, the issues of my heart, without first of all getting to know who you are. So it is normal, it is human for somebody to feel like they do not want to share. But when you work with a professional counselor, you will realize that once you get to know that they are not there to judge you, they are there to listen to your story. They are there to just support you and probably help you gain some important resources, internal resources, which can help you be able to cope with your pain or whatever it is that you are going through. You realize that now the journey becomes a journey of friends, because there's an element of friendship. In as much as this is a professional formal engagement, there's also an element of friendship, because you cannot entrust your heart issues to someone who is not a friend. So, and to someone that, with whom you are not sure whether they are going to be of help to you or not. So basically, counseling is an environment or an atmosphere where you are not going to be judged, where you will be taken as you are, you'll be given unconditional positive regard, and most importantly, why people refuse or find it hard to open up to other people is because they fear that the information they are going to share is not going to be kept confidential.
It's going to be disposed.
It's going to be exposed. But I'm here to say a professional trained counselor knows how important it is to be confidential. Yes. So people should not fear. But then we need to really train those who are saying they want to work with other people. And therefore, not everybody is a counselor. Some people I hear people calling themselves mentors, and they confuse between mentorship and the counseling. Those are two different things. Because mentorship is more of an informal engagement. But counseling is usually very formal. There are some rules to be followed in a therapy room.
What is counseling? So basically, counseling has ethics.
It has ethics.
There are ethics that counselors must follow.
Absolutely. Ethics like what I have just shared: unconditional positive regard, non-judgmental attitude, and confidentiality. Those are very, very fundamental elements of counseling. Yes.
I hear you speak about counseling and mentioning the fact that it should be in an environment where the person that is here to open up their heart should trust that the person to whom they are opening their heart is going to keep the information confidential.
Yes.
However, there's something that I've just thought about. The person that is counseling now, how about them? Because I'm also feeling like, yes, they might keep the information confidential, but how about them? Won't they burst by receiving? Because you see, they are dealing with thousands of people. How are they able to manage all this information? And Agnes will share with you, Paul will share with you, another person, thousands of people.
Yeah.
How are you able to take in that information, keep it confidential, but also remain a normal person. Because I feel like some of the topics are sensitive.
Yeah.
And they might also sort of damage you who is taking in. So how are you able to deal with that?
Thank you. That's a very good question. But a trained professional knows that, first of all, let's say counselors are human too. They are humans.
Yes.
And there are times when they feel, overwhelmed by listening to issues of different people. But then, every trained counselor knows that they also have their own counselors. And I know there was going to be a question of that nature.
Yes.
Counselors have their own supervisors or their own counselors,
Yes.
where we usually go for what we call personal therapy. And they are going to another professional who also understands those very important principles of counseling, confidentiality and non-judgmental attitude, all that. And therefore, we go there to express or to offload what we are having. We do not go there to disclose our clients. We go there to share with them, I met with a client, they are having this issue, and I'm feeling overwhelmed, working with them. I feel drained. So the other person who is helping the counselor is not there to dig into this counselor's client's issues. They are there because of the counselor only. But then, I also need to say that when we are in counseling sessions, it is not about the counselor. It is about the client. And that is why, in as much as even the counselors have their own issues, we do not go to therapy room to discuss our issues or we go there to take care of the clients who have come. So if I have my own issues, I have my own personal therapist to whom I go.
Okay.
Thank you.
So basically you render a listening ear.
Yep.
Now, there are two things there. You listen to your client. Are you at any point allowed to share your opinion? Because again, now we want to sort of help our viewers, our listeners. Should they allow for people to share their opinions?
Thank you. In counseling, you can as well share your opinions. But then, what should not happen in counseling is advising. We do not advise because we help clients to own up their story, but we help them to develop their own internal resources to deal with their own issues. Okay, we do not engage with the clients to rescue them from their situation, because the moment you are so obsessed about rescuing a person, you are likely to impair or you are likely to become subjective.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And I liken this aspect to what happens when I'm sure you have ever found yourself in an accident scene, and you have seen how people respond to, they are so obsessed about rescuing this person who is trapped in that accident. But when you listen to experts like the Red Cross, they will tell you you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in the process of you trying to leave this person who is trapped in the wreckage, you are likely to break their bones further.
Oh my.
Okay? In fact, if you are able to remove them from the wreckage, in fact, what they say, it's not your responsibility to take them to hospital. You are supposed to remove them from the wreckage if you can. And if you don't have the right equipment, call professionals, people who are able to come and do it in a better way. And if you happen to rescue them from the wreckage, you are supposed to put them somewhere lying flat, then call for professional help for people who are able to lift them in a certain way, in a certain angle. They are trained. But you as a lay person, if you go to lift that person, you are likely to cause their probably limbs,
cause them more damage.
Cause more damage. Same case happens to counseling. We are not in therapy room to rescue a person, but we are there to work with them through the journey of us together collaboratively, the counselor and the counselee, to untrap this person from where they are. So my work as a counselor is to just share insights, but we are also allowed to use self-disclosures. I could be having a story that relates with what you have brought for therapy, but I don't just share it for the sake of sharing. I should not share the story if I do not, at the end of the story, tell you what did I do to get myself out of that same situation. So we do share our own stories, we do self-disclosures for the sake of benefiting the client, not ourselves. We also do what we call confrontational skills. You can confront a person, you know, you can challenge them, the challenging skill that is allowed in counseling. Because again, there are some people who are trapped in a situation and they require somebody to come out strongly to challenge them. But in a very professional way, in a manner that is not going to harm them, to do them more harm than good. Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious, what made you, how did you feel like, this is the right profession for me? What compelled you to becoming a counselor?
Thank you. Every counselor will tell you that they were propelled by something. And I think what made me want to become a counselor is because I found myself in many situations, instances, where I'm having people who need help, but I'm feeling helpless. I want to help, but I feel helpless. And therefore I ask myself, what can I do to be able to generate some resources that could help me help others? Now, sometimes I would...
I also go through that. And people share with you and you really don't know how you should
You don't know how you should help. I remember one time visiting, my sick mother in hospital. And while I was in that ward, ICU, she was admitted in ICU, and I saw people coming in, so helpless, screaming and traumatized. And I kept asking myself, how can I help these guys? And it is at that point that I got to know you can actually go to school, sit in class, and be taught how to help people.
Yes.
That is what I did.
Also, you went back to school?
I went back to school to study counseling psychology.
Okay.
And here I am.
How long does it take if I wanted to become a counselor? How much time should I put aside?
You must put aside not less than 4 years
4 years?
To train how to help others.
Hey.
Yeah.
There are no short courses.
Yeah, they are. But if you want to go deeper into some, important components of counseling,
yes,
you had better be patient with yourself and get equipped.
And I believe that is how, like when you put aside those 4 years, let's say, that's when you come out with, proper knowledge and,
absolutely,
ability and skills to be able to, to give real impact to people.
Like back in Kenya, I've also lectured for a number of years in an institution of higher learning, and we expose our students to sometimes very extreme cases. Like in Kenya, you'll be sent to our main prison, to counsel with the prisoners. Yeah, and then it's a what I would call a practicum session that will take you about 3 semesters to train.
Like industrial training.
Absolutely. Yes, and then you come back, you sit down with your supervisor. They are able to listen to your issues that you encountered, and they help you. So it's not something that you go to bed and you wake up being a counselor. You've got to spare some time.
Are there situations where people have enrolled to study counseling and psychology, and then they end up saying, no, this is not for me? Like I have a friend who joined medicine, and so one time they were told to slaughter a frog in the laboratory. And then when he looked at it, he just said, no, this is not for me. So he decided, no, I'm changing and I'm switching to something else.
Yeah.
Have you had scenarios like those?
Absolutely. Counseling is not for the faint-hearted. Because there are issues you encounter and you feel like you're stuck. You feel like you don't know how to go about it. And there are some people who along the way feel like, I'm not a people person. And I like saying, if you are not a people person, then counseling is not your line. You've got to look for something else to do.
Okay, so I hear you saying you must have a big heart, like you should not be faint-hearted.
Yes.
That is one, but also you must have like really that love for people. Because when you have much love for people, then you desire to help.
Absolutely.
To give to them what they can't give to themselves in the moment.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. Counseling is it's not for the faint-hearted. Great.
Yes. Now, for those that are now, after talking about the time that one should put aside to go to school and study how to help others, what is it that, what should counselors know about the people that they're yet to support? What is the kind of information that they should know? Like, if I choose to be a counselor, what kind of information should I know, or should I, briefly, before I even make a decision to go and enroll?
Yeah. That's a very good question, but one that would require extensive answer. Very broad answer. What people should know about other people. And I will try to summarize it and say that one thing that counselors ought to know is that people are very diverse. They are very broad. And the way people respond to issues is very different.
Yes.
So it goes without saying, you can be dealing with one issue. Let's say, for example, like now what happened here in the 90s, the genocide and all that, and the trauma that engulfed the community in this place. The way people responded to that is very different. There are people who are able to maybe spring back to their new normal pretty fast than others. There are others who took some time, and there are others who probably, even today, 30 years down the line, they are still struggling with that baggage. So people are very diverse and they respond to issues very differently. Number two, they also need to know that every human being love it when they are listened to. Counseling is about listening. And number three, counseling is about taking what we call a not knowing stance. You don't go into a counseling room thinking that you know everything. They need to know that the people they are helping, they are the experts of their own issues. You can never be.
That's where now the point of not, sharing your opinion should, like, counselors should really refrain from being opinionated.
Absolutely, because people will come for therapy with a lot of things, and they are the experts. People who went through the atrocities of the 90s in this country, they are the experts of their own stories. I cannot come here from Kenya claiming to be a well-trained, seasoned psychologist, thinking that I know everything. You must embrace that element of taking a not knowing stance. You don't know. You are there to be educated. Absolutely. You are there to be educated. Now, as they educate you about their story, then slowly by slowly you are able now to bring out skills. You are able to bring out now, your knowledge, in the field of counseling, and you're able to help them. But anytime you go to a person and you want to appear like you know everything, then you miss it.
And you even put them off somehow.
You put them off.
Because it's like you're not giving them the chance to
express their deep-seated pain.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what I would tell them. They do not know. Clients are the experts. That's a principle one must never forget. I'm looking forward to a time when you will start those programs here. We come and we help people how to be counselors.
Yes.
Yep.
I would really need ask you to sort of expand. Expand why I'm a counselor, can't I fix it for myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you are not a know-it-all. You don't know everything, and most importantly, you are also human. In fact, there's a book I read some years back called Becoming Human. I can't remember the author. Becoming Human is a book written to try and help counselors actually how to be human, because there are some who will go and train in a particular field and they start feeling like they are superhumans and they forget the fact that they are actually humans
and that they can also be as vulnerable
as any other person.
Clients
Yep.
that they are dealing with.
Yes.
Yes.
So counselors are humans and they need help. So there's nobody who can say because they have trained in psychology that they do not need help. Sometimes psychology is about interpreting people's behaviors. I've had people confusing it and saying, hey, so you are reading my mind. No, I cannot read your mind until I see your behaviors. Once I see your behaviors, I'll ask myself, what causes him or her to behave this way.
Yes.
And then I am not able to read your mind until a time when we have a sit down, so that I can be able to reconcile what you are saying with the behaviors I have observed. So no counselor is a superhuman. We all need help. I think what I have enjoyed as a counselor is when I work with a person and I see them stand on their feet again. That is really, really breathtaking. But the opposite of that as well uh, leaves me quite disappointed when I see someone, and they are not able to get help even out of our interactions, and that I have maybe to discontinue the sessions, or even I refer them to somebody else. That usually is not a very good feeling for any counselor, in as much as we are usually taught in our ethics that we can never be saviors to anyone. Meaning that if somebody does not, change, you shouldn't carry that at home to the point of you falling sick because of other people. But then I would say that counseling has made me really enjoy being with people. Listening to people as they speak out their issues, trying to come in and assist. It's usually very encouraging. And it makes me feel fulfilled when I work with people. But then there are times when somebody will call, or maybe we had an appointment, and because I have found myself in such a circumstance, maybe I double booked somebody, or I got late somewhere. It usually does not feel good when you get late to see her.
When you get late to meet a person that really needs
Absolutely.
your support, or just what they are looking for is you rendering them a listening ear.
Absolutely. Amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Now, you mentioned about KCPA, and I also read it offline or in your
Website.
profile.
Yeah.
And also I tried to Google a bit on the website what KCPA does. And I would like you to, speak to our viewers, speak to us. Do you find solace in belonging to such professional bodies? What is it that is so good about, having a professional body like KCPA? Would you recommend, like in Rwanda, for us to have, maybe we won't call it KCPA, this time it can be an RCPA?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk with us a journey of understanding. What are the benefits of belonging to such a professional body?
It is important to belong to a professional body because, number one, it gives you an opportunity to improve yourself professionally. KCPA comes up with so many professional development courses or programs where people enroll. Take, for instance, I brought to Rwanda over 80 people who are here. They got that opportunity to just sit down, listen to your stories, hear and then get to learn a lot of things. Talk of visiting the genocide museum. You get that privilege. Number two, in current times, current employers will see any serious employer in a particular field. We already want to look at your belonging to a professional body.
Yes.
Because they know being in a professional body, it develops you professionally, and that will translate, it snowballs to your productivity at your workplace. So it is very, very important. And then you become a voice to speak on behalf of professionals. Yeah.
And also your contribution, I mean, to a wider network of people. And I'm also thinking of, like you mentioned about the professional, like companies, organizations. If in my CV there is something like I belong to KCPA or
Absolutely.
RCPA, then it means I'm already used to working in a team. I know how to manage myself in a team.
Yes.
And because professional bodies also have their rules and regulations, and they have policies, it means I'm already, a person that walks by certain rules.
Absolutely.
And not,
Absolutely.
a wild person. Now, again, reading your book, I mean your profile, I saw that you have written 2 books.
Yep.
How would you share with us, I mean, where can we find your books? Especially the one that is already released, and then we will talk a bit more about the one that you're writing. And I'm more curious to hear about the one that you're writing, because it's about teenagers, and Rwanda is a country that has the biggest chunk of its population as the youth, teenagers. And when I say teenagers, it's from teenagers to the youth in our population. So that one we will come back to it, but probably tell us, about the one that you already released. What would compel me to read that book?
Nice.
Yes.
The book that I have written is called Breaking Transgenerational Family Chains, from the sting of bloodline weaknesses.
Yes.
I think that's a key word. Bloodline weaknesses. Meaning, these are issues that stem from our families of origin.
Yes.
And this book is highly integrated with the Bible. And we try to look at some practices in a family that children acquire from their parents. The book integrates both scientific evidence, real life, experiences, as well as the Bible. So I think I have been able to integrate those 2 concepts, scientific and theological concepts. So the book is very good because it looks at how we behave, the reason why, and the place of our families of origin in being who we are. Let's say, for example, if you grew up in a family where people are sold out to alcohol, your parents, for instance, so what does that child grow up thinking? How about another child who grew up seeing his or her father harass the mother or beat the mother? They grow up thinking that that is the way to resolve a conflict.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And they
so
carry
they
that.
Live with a lot of dysfunctionality.
Absolutely. They normalize an abnormality.
They
Okay?
learn to live with the
abnormalities. So the book is addressing such things, trying to help people get out of that particular self-defeating lifestyle. Sometimes I hear people saying, "Oh, I think I am cursed. I think I'm this or that." But sometimes you look at it from a psychological point of view, and you can straight away tell that this person is just transmitting something that they acquired
that they received
from their caregivers or their significant others. Because that is how That's how a child functions.
Yes.
I grew up seeing my father smoke. And as a child, I really used to admire, the way the smoke of the cigar is coming out through the nose. And I grew up saying, one day
I will smoke.
I will try this. Okay, because for me, I think it was fun. There are some things that we do and we make children think it is fun. It is cool.
And yet it is going to damage them for
Absolutely.
For life.
So the book is trying to address some of those family issues emanating from our families of origin, and how sometimes we need to pause and look at where we have come from, and purpose, of course, with the help of God, to overcome some of those harmful practices. And that is what I'm calling bloodline weaknesses. Yep.
Wow. You've the book has sort of reminded me that, as families, as people taking care of others, it is important to accept, like live with acceptance that you need to work on yourself. It looks like we are work in progress.
We are work in progress. Yep.
It is possible that I was born in a family that is dysfunctional. However, if I accept that yes, that is what it was, and I can work on myself,
absolutely,
then things can change. Because all we are looking for is, a better version of the next generation.
Yeah.
And I think in that book you call it legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I would want you to tell us more about, the teenagers.
Yes.
In your next book.
Touring the heart of your teenager. Maybe in summary, this is, as the title, says,
touring the heart of your teenager.
Your teenager. And I have given an analogy of a tourist and a tour guide. When you go to your national parks, there are some sites that you do not know. Only a tour guide can tell you. At this time, you are not able to see lions because it is hot, and maybe they are taking shelter, somewhere inside the bush. If you want to see them, you can only come at a certain time. The same case applies to us human beings.
Yes.
When you are raising teenagers, you don't make a mistake as a parent of thinking that you know everything about them.
Just because you're the one who gave birth.
Just because you are the ones who.
Yep. They have grown up in your house.
Yeah.
Then you start assuming that you know them.
As a matter of fact, many of our young people tell me, because I interact with them a lot,
yes,
that my parents do not know me.
They don't understand me.
They don't understand me. They know nothing about me, which is very true. So the book is trying to give some tips to parents. What is it that you can do to help your child warm up to you and allow you into their hearts, and they are able to guide you through those sites. I'm actually calling them sites. Sites. This is where I'm hurting mommy. Another site of relationship. This is what this boy told me. How should I say? How should I respond? Another site of their academics. This is where I'm struggling. It's a very interesting book. When they want to talk, because many teenagers will start fluctuating. Their emotions fluctuate. So when they are stable emotionally, you are able to see. Yeah. And you don't bombard them with questions. Sometimes it is good to start from, how did you do this? Okay? But many times we come with the language of, this is what you should have done.
You're becoming opinionated.
And then you continue making them to throw the keys. Yeah. It's something that we can talk forever.
Wow. So from what I hear is that we should anxiously wait for that book to be out, and then once it is out, please share, and then we can
absolutely
share with our viewers so that we can continuously read together.
Yes.
And the first book that is already out, how can I have it? How can I access it from where I am?
Right now, I'm in the process of having it on Amazon. So it should be up anytime. But at the moment, I think can only be found in Nairobi. But we can make arrangements for anybody that wants for shipping here.
Because you see Nairobi and Rwanda not far.
It's not far.
I shouldn't wait for Amazon.
Absolutely.
We can quickly get
we can use DHL and deliver them over here. Yep.
All right. We will put your contact and your email and mobile telephone number so that whoever wants to access such material, they can access it. And one thing I know for sure is reading should be one of in the modern day and time. Reading should be one of the weapons that we should use as people that have been lucky to go to school, because in the books there is a lot of truth, there is a lot of information that we can pick from.
Absolutely.
And become better versions of ourselves. Now, drawing closer to the end of our conversation, I know you must be having like 2 or 3 takeaways that we can share with our viewers.
Number one, maybe if I summarize what we have said, I'm wondering takeaways from
the counseling services. What should we learn from this conversation that we can make use of?
Number one, I would want to say that it is possible to become a counselor, and you only need to be ready to listen to other people's stories. Is a storytelling profession, if I may put it that way. You've got to be good listeners. You've got to be people who do not judge, people who look at other people wearing their lenses. You're able to put yourself in their shoes, and by so doing, you are able to help them get out of their pain. In fact, I want to end by saying that people may not remember what you did to them, but people can never forget how you made them feel. So that is what we should focus on. How do I make this person feel? And that is going to last for a long time. Yeah.
I really like that the quote you have just given us by Maya Angelou.
Absolutely.
How do you make somebody feel really matters. They can give you everything.
Absolutely.
If you make them feel good, they can help others because they are in a position of, they are normal. They are feeling full human beings, and that's very, very important.
Sure.
Moffat, I would like to thank you so much for this conversation. And I hope as you go back to Nairobi, you keep Kigali at heart and Rwanda at heart. And I hope you will be able to come back for more conversations.
Absolutely.
Just like I'll come to Nairobi for more conversations. And probably this time we will be at the park, the
university.
Yes. And and that's to say that I'm already like expressing my interest, because I think I'm a people's person.
Yes.
And I know very many of our viewers out here into helping others.
Yes.
And a country like Rwanda that has so many post trauma and stress disorders.
Yes.
We know for sure we need this kind of support
discussions,
and discussions to help others.
It's true.
So thank you so much.
I appreciate. Thank you for having me.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good.
Bye.